Good evening. My name is Emily Gordon, and I'm the East Lansing City Clerk. Before I officially call this meeting to order, I would like to administer the oaths of office to the two newly elected council members, Chuck Grigsby and Stephen Whelan. Councilmember Grigsby, I invite you to the microphone up here to do your oath. You guys can all come to. All right, if you want to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear and affirm,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
the Charter and the Code of the City of East Lansing,
the Charter and the Code of the City of East Lansing.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of council member
of council member
in the City of East Lansing
in the City of East Lansing
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So if you want to come sign this one. I have two, so you can take one of them too.
Thank you.
That's yours. All right, you can take a seat at the table. Okay, Councilmember-elect Whelan, I invite you to the microphone. If you would like to raise your right hand and repeat after me, I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
the Charter and the Code of the City of East Lansing,
the Charter and the Code of the City of East Lansing,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of council member
of council member
in the City of East
in
Lansing
the City of East Lansing
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. If you want to come sign our oath. Sorry, I forgot to shake Chuck's hand. One of them is for you. The other's take that to your seat.
Great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. I will now call the East Lansing City Council meeting of November 18th, 2025 to order. With that, I'm going to conduct a roll call vote. Councilmember Altman,
Here.
Councilmember Grigsby,
Here.
Councilmember Meadows, Councilmember Singh, Councilmember Whelan.
Here.
Next, we will move on to the election of mayor. Please note that the nominations do not need to be seconded. At this time, are there any nominations for mayor?
I do have a nomination for mayor. I nominate Eric Altman for mayor.
Okay, according to parliamentary procedure, I must ask for nominations 3 more times. Are there any other nominations for mayor?
I will make a nomination. Gary Singh.
Are there any other nominations for mayor? Are there any other nominations for mayor? Okay, having heard no further nominations for mayor, I will declare the nominations closed. We have 2 nominations at this time. Councilmember Meadows nominated Councilmember Altman, and Councilmember Grigsby nominated Councilmember Singh. Since there are 2 votes, we are going to conduct a roll call vote. When I call your name, please state your preference for mayor. You can just say their last name. Councilmember Altman,
Altman.
Councilmember Grigsby,
Singh.
Councilmember Meadows,
Altman.
Councilmember Singh, Councilmember Whelan.
Altman.
At this time, there are 3 votes for Councilmember Altman. Councilmember Altman is the City of East Lansing's new mayor. Mayor-elect Altman, I invite you to the microphone to take your oath of office. If you would like to raise your right hand and repeat after me, I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
the Charter and the Code of the City of East
the
Lansing,
Charter and the Code of the City of East Lansing,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of mayor in the City of East Lansing
of mayor in the City of East Lansing
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have an Congratulations. And I have an oath for you to sign, and then this is the script for Mayor.
Great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Here.
Am I signing 2 copies of this?
Just one copy. I'll make a copy for you. Perfect.
And I take this?
Yep, that is all yours now.
Okay. Thank you to the city clerk for opening the proceedings. Next, we move on to the election of the mayor pro tem. Please note that nominations do not need to be seconded. I will ask 3 times for nominations. Are there any nominations for mayor pro tem?
I do have a nomination. I nominate Councilmember Grigsby for mayor pro tem.
Second call, are there any nominations for mayor pro tem? Third and final call, are there any nominations for mayor pro tem? That closes the nominations. We have 1 nominee, Councilmember Grigsby. Each of us will vote yes or no. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Altman,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigsby,
Yes.
Councilmember Meadows,
Yes.
Councilmember Singh, Councilmember Whelan.
Yes. Motion carries.
Perfect. Motion carries. Councilmember Grigsby is the new mayor pro tem of the City of East Lansing. Councilmember Grigsby, if you'd like to step up to the microphone, we will swear you in as mayor pro tem. All right, if you want to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
the Charter and the Code of the City of East
the
Lansing,
Charter and the Code of the City of East Lansing,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Mayor Pro Tem
of Mayor Pro Tem
in the City of East
in
Lansing
the City of East Lansing
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great, you can, I have another one for you. Congratulations. I forgot to shake your hand the first time. Okay, you can go ahead and sign. We'll get you a copy of this too.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, Mayor Altman, the meeting is all yours now.
Okay, I get to drive. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. We have minutes from the 21st October 2025 regular council meeting. Is there a motion?
There is. I move that we adopt the regular council meeting minutes from October 21st, 2025.
Moved by Meadows, second by Singh. Any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Meadows. Second by Whelan. Excellent. Your inaugural second. Congratulations. Any discussion of the agenda? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We have an agenda. Communications. All written communications are attached to the online agenda packet. We have a number of communications from the audience. I know one person had a time constraint. First speaker, John Sweet.
You know, my first thing I thought as I was walking up here was, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees have no tongues. I'm speaking as John Sweet, citizen, taxpayer, and I don't think the taxpayers have had a lot of say to the council. I was expecting Ordinance 1541 to be on the agenda for repeal of small sections of it. I don't know if it was put on, taken off, never put on. I don't know why the council is messing around with this. It's been spoken about, I don't know, for the past 3-4 months. Seems like nobody wants to take it up. I would like it put on for the next meeting for those sections about noise ordinance to be repealed. We have ordinances prohibiting camping overnight in a park. We have ordinance for lying, sleeping, sitting in a parking structure. I have never seen those enforced. Never. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know why that one doesn't get applied to. But I'd like to expand that one to include the Ann Street Plaza, to include loitering. So I'm talking about, we have an ordinance that is not being enforced in the parking structures that should be enforced. There are some nuances to it. I understand that. But come on, you can't go 8-10 months and not apply those nuances. I don't know what the problem is there. But I would like that expanded to the Ann Street Plaza with loitering included. That would get rid of a lot of our problems. Panhandling. I would like an ordinance to be put in for the whole city of East Lansing to prohibit panhandling in the city of East Lansing. These are simple things. These aren't like, oh my God, he's come up with some new idea. This is just common sense stuff that should be handled. We have people coming in from all states, going to Michigan State, taking their children. My wife and I are going outside to go to restaurants. We have guests coming from other states to come see us, and they get mistreated by just a handful of people because of loitering, panhandling. This is the city of East Lansing. I don't know why these things haven't been looked at. Even just come up, it's just common sense. Al fresco, great during COVID. What the hell? COVID's over. These have become homeless shelters for the whole summer. They take up the hammocks, they take up the benches, and when people are trying to use the benches, they end up sleeping underneath them. People don't want to sit there. These aren't used by tax-paying citizens. These are used by non-tax-paying citizens. Our city's gotten bigger, a lot bigger than 10 years ago. Do we have more police or less police? Do we support our police chief? What we need to do is get the police, the number of police, to the highest number we've had, and talk to the police chief about expanding that. How in the heck can we control Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday night football games, basketball games? People are coming from outside of the city. This is more than just the city of East Lansing controlling city of East Lansing. This is people coming from long distances to rev their engines, to pick up girls. No problem with that. But they have to have control. I'm not asking about weird things. I'm asking about common sense. Please increase the police force in East Lansing. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll just remind speakers to stay near the microphone for purposes of getting your comments in the record. Next speaker is Randy Markey.
Hello, councilors. Mayor. Just have a few comments. I'm Randy Markey. I'm a newer resident of Newman Lofts. My wife Carol and I are here tonight to give our full support to the Chief of Police and her efforts to solve or alleviate some of the problems proliferating here in East Lansing. I knew this was an entertainment district, but until I moved here last summer, I had no idea the full extent of the problems facing our community, specifically here on Albert Avenue. Who are these people anyway? I mean, I learned so much in just seeing the denizens of the night, so to speak. Some of the videos from the police department, some of the videos from the news reports, and showing no respect to residents, law enforcement, rule of law, or safety. City needs to understand that this is our home. We live here. There's a lot of us at Newman, and I'm not naive enough to think these problems are unique to East Lansing, but I do believe the conditions were created here that attract the worst from all outskirts of the Tri-County region and more. Though I speak for myself tonight, there are many others of similar mind residing at Newman. After witnessing the behavior of the crowds, watching the videos, reading stories, etc., I was happy to find some support from City Councilor Altman, now Mayor, and as he spoke of his nighttime observations, he said that no one will understand the extent of the problems unless you see it yourself. The exact same words I was using to describe it in talking to other people. I then spoke with Mr. Altman and worked out to get a series of meetings together with him, Chief Brown, Newman residents, club owners, and other business owners on Albert. Some of the residents helped us get this all together as well, including Mr. Meadows. Things started moving towards finding solutions to all our problems, finally. Out of all our stories about living in this complex, Chief Brown came up with a Downtown Solutions Committee that is targeting 6 major problem areas to work on towards finding some solutions. I'm sure we'll be hearing on these more solutions soon. And my wife and I, along with most of the Newman residents, will be giving full support to Chief Brown, her staff, and the City Council to solve some of these issues. It's time for the inmates to give the keys back. Time for our human rights. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Melissa Sweet.
I'm here to also speak in support of the East Lansing Police Department and Chief Jennifer Brown. Some of the issues that seem unenforceable by the police. I just want to make a mention of a few. The vehicle noise, which is, I think, maybe Newman Loft's top issue, or at least top 5. The loud exhaust and the modified mufflers. So they are included on a list of offenses that if they are the primary reason that that the police would pull someone over, they cannot pull them over. And loud exhaust and modified mufflers are on there, along with about 8 other things. So I think that one should be removed from that list because it's a real serious problem. The social district and al fresco, I learned that in June of this year, the DDA unanimously supported creating a social district in the al fresco area. My opinion on that, please don't do that. Bringing more alcohol to the downtown area will be problematic. It already is. So who's responsible when somebody finds a cup with Jolly Pumpkin's name on it or wherever the solution is and starts using it? Buying from the liquor store and pouring it in cups. Who's responsible? The business? The person? You know, so that's a question I have. And also about the al fresco and potential social district. I wish that you just would get rid of them, but if you do have them, maybe not right at the Ann Street Plaza where you have residents living. You know, there is another ramp down a block or 2 that's covered on the street side. You know, there isn't an apartment on top. Maybe move it down there. So that's on al fresco. Also something about a pilot program to test it for a weekend here or there or whatever. Just, I wouldn't bother. I've already mentioned at another meeting that Porta-John at the Ann Plaza is, probably shouldn't be there because of what goes on around it and in it. So next is litter is another concern. And it doesn't seem that it's enforceable when trash. I mean, I've seen people, you know, rip up tickets right in front of the police, throw them on the ground, and it remains there. And anyway, so that's just one example of littering, but there's all sorts of trash down there. I guess I want to know, is it enforceable or is it not? So that's a question. And what is the city's solution for the trash? I have also heard that if it's looks like a suitcase or someone's, maybe their belongings, that you can't touch them, and they're their belongings. I understand that, but they're also litter. Can anybody just leave? Like, is that how we do it? Anyway, so the need to know ordinances on the city's webpage. Another question I have is, can the police do anything when these need to know ordinances are violated? Or are they amended in some ways, which I'm finding it hard to figure that all out. I want to make a quick mention about 2 police incidents that we witnessed, and it was serious mental health issues, 2 of them. I'm just going to talk about them kind of as one. Both of them were very serious mental health issues, right down on Ann Plaza. And the police showed up, kind of trickling in, and then there were 3 police officers, a social worker, an ambulance, CMS was called. So there was a lot of people down there for over 2 hours.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Okay. They were successful in de-escalating the situation, and I was so thankful for that because this man was in a really bad way, both of them. But it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources. You know, it took over 2 hours in both cases to de-escalate the situation and get the person the help they need. I'm thankful that the police did that, but with our limited resources with the police department, I guess I just encourage hiring more and giving the chief the authority to enact laws or enforce laws. So, thank you.
Thank you. Joni Morgell.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. I'm Joni Morgell, and I live at Newman Lofts on Albert Ave, across from the field house. My husband and I retired and moved to East Lansing 7 months ago. I'm here this evening to express my support of repealing the noise ordinance and in support of Police Chief Jennifer Brown and the East Lansing Police Department. Our law enforcement needs to have the ability to do their jobs well and keep themselves and people safe in the community. Actually, we all need to do our part. There are so many pros to living here. For example, the many great people in the community, although unfortunately the cons are life-altering in a very negative way. The primary con for me is the noise issue. The music coming from the bars is so loud and disruptive, it is impossible for me to get any sleep until well after 2 or 3 a.m. The noise is as excessive as it is predictable. I wear earplugs, use a white noise machine, have a fan turned on, sleep on an air mattress in the furthest room away from the street. The best I can hope for is to go back to my bed for 2 to 3 hours of sleep before sunrise. I often wonder how people who have to work function after one of these raucous nights. I never in a million years thought I would spend my retirement like this. This is about quality of life, and there is no peace, no serenity in this city. As a registered nurse, I have firsthand knowledge as to how detrimental sleep deprivation is on mental and physical health. This is truly the unhealthiest city I have ever lived in. On a positive note, Police Chief Brown, City Council members Altman and Meadows, and various business owners from Harper's, Ella's Teco, Velakis Law, Jolly Pumpkin, all came together and met multiple times with residents of Newman Lofts to discuss many concerns regarding the excessive noise coming from inside and outside the bars, the Crotch Rocket Club, and vehicles with modified mufflers, the filth in the city, and the increase in the homeless population. Thankfully, those discussions have been very productive and have created a collaborative environment for mutually beneficial solutions. Ultimately, however, I'm aware that only the actions of the City Council will determine whether any of our solutions come to fruition. I want to live in a community of citizens who have respect for one another, as well as the property and environment around them. Is this that city? I will do whatever I can to make it happen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Michelle Van Summeren.
I had no intention of speaking tonight. However, I did want to thank then Councilman Altman, Councilman Meadows, as well as Chief Brown for meeting with Newman Lofts a couple of times in the last 4 weeks to go over the multiple issues that we have in East Lansing with the noise, with the motorcycles, with the inability of the police force to do anything because their hands are tied. I feel very confident that our meetings were very productive. And as Joni mentioned, I'll echo what she said. It's up to the City Council to make the necessary changes that is needed in East Lansing. I've lived at Newman Lofts for 4 years. The noise issue is unbelievable. the inability of the police to stop the cars with the modified mufflers, the crotch rockets, the unhoused, I guess that's the appropriate term for them now, and just the crowds. I mean, you can't get out of the garages Tuesday through Saturday because, I mean, students have no, they don't follow guidelines, especially after they've been drinking. But as somebody from the Human Rights Commission, I read an article today that I would like to read because it peeved me off. I saw red when I read this. Let's see. I saw 33 cops standing around board on the MSU U of M game day, Connerly said. We're not naive as a commission to think that crime does not happen, that people don't take opportunities to do things, but all of us have been kids. We know that kids do kid things. And I think it's absurd our police department would act like young adults are not young adults. Well, excuse me. I never acted like that when I was a young adult, and I was a pretty heavy partier. And he goes on to say that commissioners said they were downtown the night of the Michigan State University versus U of M football game and during holiday weekend. They said downtown is not the war zone it is being described as. Let me tell you, I was in the military and I worked 31 years with maximum security men in prisons. It is a war zone downtown. It is unsafe downtown. I would prefer to be in a maximum security prison. I felt safer. So, something needs to be done. Not next month, not January. It needs to be done now. So, and I fully support Chief Brown, the East Lansing Police Department. If they were allowed to do the job they were trained for and should be doing, this place might be a safer city. Thank you.
Thank you. Carissa Buchholz.
Good evening. I just want to start off by welcoming Councilmember Grigsby and Councilmember Whelan to the council. I'm here tonight to read a letter from the Glen Cairn Elementary School Community Council, which was endorsed at our meeting last Thursday, November 13th. Thank you for supporting safety updates at the Harrison and North Lawn crosswalk. Since the August updates and the implementation of the consistent PACE crossing guard staffing, which is now double, it is fantastic, I should say. The crosswalk is safer and we do feel we are on the right path. Resident input is essential to any project, and we request that our feedback be integrated into the design process. GECC, or the Glen Cairn Elementary School Community Council, formally endorsed this letter, as I mentioned last Thursday. We support the following improvements at the North Lawn and Harrison crosswalk. First, a hawk or pedestrian signal at the crosswalk and at the South Lawn in Harrison, which would provide safe access during non-crossing guard hours, especially for our before and after care kids, and is more effective than in our RFB. The hawk is being requested primarily for visibility and child safety purposes. Please note the city is not required to follow MDOT trunkline guidelines that have deemed this crosswalk unknowledgeable. 2, a raised crosswalk, which has been proven to slow down vehicles and improve visibility as is seen on MSU's campus. 3, a hardwired radar speed signs, one in each direction. We currently have them, but they're solar panel. Hardwiring these would ensure functionality during the cloudy winter months. 4, thoughtful placement, sign placement without massive infrastructure, which maintains neighborhood character. 5, widening the sidewalk on the east side of Harrison and removing ramps at North Lawn and Harrison. The current sidewalk is very narrow and forces pedestrians into the grass, and the ramps at the south of the crosswalk encourage unsafe jaywalking. 6, use of radar speed cameras, which would provide 24/7 and generate the city much-needed revenue. 7, optical speed bars and yield triangles, which would provide clear guidance for motorists on where to stop. And finally, 8, a more limited truck restriction. We ask that you consider axle or weight limits or adopt Meridian Township's approach prohibiting most commercial vehicles except for pickups or small vans on all roads except for designated routes. We support exceptions for local deliveries. The current Class 6 and 7 allowances still permit large gravel trucks, posing safety risks. Thank you for prioritizing safe access to school for non-motorized users, and we do look forward to this project getting started next year. And I just wanted to note that we do see all of the efforts that the city has made in moving this project up, and we are grateful and very appreciative of it.
Thank you, Jeffrey Friedel.
Mr. Mayor, council people, and all of you guys too, and those people out there, I am thankful that East Lansing police officers will place themselves in harm's way to protect and aid me and my neighbors. Neighborhood resource specialists are a valuable asset assisting the police officers. I am also thankful that our city firefighters will protect me and our property. And I am thankful that the EMTs will go above and beyond to ensure our lives are preserved. I thank all of the city staff that keep the city running on a day-to-day basis, and all of the neighbors that voluntarily serve on boards and commissions that assist them in that task. And thank you to City Council that provides policy to keep us all heading in the same direction. I am concerned, however, by recent criticisms of Chief Brown and East Lansing Police Department that stem from arrests at recent downtown disturbances. The individuals arrested reflected the composition of the individuals causing the disturbance. Some have criticized Chief Brown and labeled her a racist because of her comments. This is a misinterpretation of the chief's remarks. Accusations of racism serve no purpose but to divide the community. These accusations also serve to adversely affect the morale of police officers in the department and erode the community's trust of officers. I have participated in the East Lansing Police Citizens Academy. I recommend that for everybody to learn about all the other facets that we don't see on a day-to-day basis of the activities of the police department. I have also sat in on interview panels for police cadets, police officers promotions, and was invited to attend the recent full-scale live incident exercise this summer with East Lansing and MSU Police. In all of these interactions, I have been very impressed with Chief Brown and East Lansing police officers and the police officers of the adjoining jurisdictions. We are better than what is transpiring at this time with attacks on Chief Brown, the police department, and the city. We need to take a step back, and I challenge neighbors to come out, have a meaningful, reasoned conversation to find ways to make our city better. Thank you.
Thank you. Harold Pope.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Congratulations to the new postings on City Council. I'm here tonight to make a statement on police relations and accountability in East Lansing. In East Lansing, trust between law enforcement and the community must rest on the pillars of transparency, accountability, and respect for every resident. Comments made by Police Chief Jennifer Brown asserting that there was an abundance of blacks and minorities that come into town and commit crimes represent a deeply harmful departure from these principles. Such language is not only racially biased, it carries echoes of past injustices in our nation's history, including the tragedy of Emmett Till, whose life was brutally taken because of unfounded and racially charged accusations. This history reminds us of the grave consequences that can arise when public officials make statements rooted in stereotypes rather than facts and fairness. These comments undermine community trust and jeopardize public safety. They also call into question Chief Brown's ability to lead a department that serves and protects all residents equally. For the safety and well-being of both the community and the officers who serve, the resignation or removal of the current police chief is necessary. The city had other candidates for this role which were stronger, sounder, and demonstrated a commitment to equitable policing, qualities that are essential for effective leadership in East Lansing. Accountability must also extend to officers involved in recent incidents. Officer Lyons and Kingsbury should have been promptly and publicly addressed for their decision to deploy pepper spray and for their failure to render aid when asked. Delayed or insufficient accountability erodes public confidence and sends the message that harmful actions will be overlooked rather than corrected. Furthermore, the city and the East Lansing Police Department must issue a clear and public statement exonerating the 2 young black men who were falsely criminalized in the department's earlier communications. Correcting the record is not only a matter of fairness to those individuals, it is an essential step towards repairing trust, acknowledging harm, and demonstrating that truth and justice take precedent over preserving institutional reputation. East Lansing deserves a police department that upholds the highest standards of professionalism, equity, and integrity, one that understands the weight of its words and actions and the impact they have on the people that are sworn to protect. Meaningful corrective action, public accountability, and leadership change are necessary steps towards rebuilding trust and ensuring that our community is safe, inclusive, and just for all. Simply put, Chief Brown lied to the community, held video footage that refuted the lie, made openly racist statements, publicly criminalized 2 young black men, failed to hold officers Lyon and Kingsbury accountable, and failed to publicly exonerate and apologize to the 2 young black men as a part of a failed cover-up. Why is she still the police chief? Why does the city have its attorney going to the HRC and ELIPOC threatening in an effort to block any efforts to investigate misconduct of the police department, the chief, or the officers? Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher Brooks.
Hello, my name is Chris Brooks. I'm a former East Lansing resident, current police officer, and I've been dating Jen Brown's daughter for the last 4 years. I was raised in a small town, ironically enough, called East China, Michigan. The current demographic of East China is about 98% white, but for most of my childhood, I was the only brown kid in any of my schools. I tell you all this not because I need you to feel sorry for me. I simply need you all to understand I know what racism is. I grew up with it, I witnessed it, and I faced it every single day. When I first started dating Jen's daughter, we didn't tell anybody for about a year, but of course we had to tell Jen. When my girlfriend told Jen we were dating, her only request was he has to come over so I can meet him for dinner. When I walked in the door, there was no interrogation, no uneasiness, and certainly no differential treatment because of color of my skin. From the moment I walked in the door, I was family. From that first dinner to family holidays, vacations, more rounds of golf than I can count, Jen has never once treated me, or anyone else for that matter, different because of the color of their skin. Now, don't get me wrong, if I didn't treat Jen's daughter the way that Jen thinks she deserves to be treated, or really just didn't make her as happy as she deserves, Jen would be the last person I would want to face. Jen is many things, but above all, she is fierce. What I mean by this is, if you're someone she cares about, she will love you, take care of you, and protect you voraciously. That includes her family, her officers, her civilian employees, and the residents of the city that she is charged with policing, no matter the color of their skin. But let me tell you what else Jen is. When she was thinking about coming back to policing, she asked my girlfriend and me our opinions. I've been doing this job for 11 years now. I know how this job can eat you alive, and I knew the storm that Jen was in store for here at ELPD. I warned her about low morale, low recruiting, political landmines, but Jen knew she could help this department and this city. In her time here, this department has almost been flipped on its head. She's radically raised the morale of this department. She's gotten so good at recruiting officers, she's stolen a couple from my department. And above all, she has collaboratively made East Lansing safer because of the hard work she's put in. I'm incredibly grateful that I have the privilege of not calling her Jen or Chief, but to me, she is simply Mom. To me, she has never been anything other than loving, protective, and thoughtful. I just want you all and everyone in this room to know the problems in this city were not created by Jen. They are not being perpetuated by Jen. And this person that some of you all seem to have such an easy time personally attacking is still a person. An incredibly loving, motivated, hardworking person who doesn't have a racist thought in her body. I'm certain that the loud voices looking for their 15 seconds of relevancy would be just as loud no matter who sat in the chief's office. But fortunately, for the residents of this city, Jen Brown holds that office. She will weather the storm, continue to do right by the citizens of this community, and inevitably be one of the most fair, impartial, unbiased, effective chiefs East Lansing has seen in recent memory. So I thank you for your time, and I'd just like to put on the record, congratulations, Councilman Whelan.
Thank you. Kath Edsel.
Good evening. Illegals, especially Mexicans and Indians, are coming into our community and raping and murdering and stealing jobs. The gays and transgenders are coming into our community and grooming and molesting kids. Those statements are abhorrent. And based on the looks I got from some of you, you agree. In 2023, East Lansing became a sanctuary city to protect undocumented community members who live and or work within the city from detainment or arrest. East Lansing has a history dating back to 1972 of providing protections against discrimination for LGBTQIA+ community. If Jen Brown had made either of those statements, she would not be sitting here today. Yet her anti-black racism is clearly acceptable to at least 3 of you, or she would be gone. Racism is not, nor should it be, a both sides majority rules situation. Racism is woven into the institution of policing, and moral people should be using every fiber of their being to unravel it. Yet we as a so-called liberal community and council that want to continue doing the same old because white people believe that they are safer and their property is protected if we keep the minorities who come into our community and commit crimes brutalized, arrested, and charged. Under Brown, we have seen a black man tackled and tased in McDonald's while eating his breakfast. I'm asking other white people, are you safer? We saw a 15-year-old black kid awaiting a ride, tackled and handcuffed. White people, are you safer? We saw 2 young black adults pepper sprayed and arrested while waiting in line to buy chicken. I ask again, white people, are you safer? How is this any different than what the current administration says about and does to undocumented or transgendered people? We have a police chief who is following the same playbook, reading from the same script, and most of you find horrifying at the national level. Portland is burning. D.C. is overrun with criminals, and she is doing it to get the same results. If she can keep white people believing downtown is violent, she can and will undo the tiny baby steps that have been taken to reverse hundreds of years of institutional racism and policing and demand more of our taxpayer dollars to continue to make East Lansing white again. The city manager explicitly and the council by admission have condoned the words and actions of Brown and termed them as a teachable moment. So what was it she was supposed to learn? According to the emails foiled by WKAR, what she's supposed to learn is to not say the quiet part out loud. Is this what we mean by a teachable moment? Silly me, I thought she was supposed to learn that she needs to work overtime to understand racism and how to be an anti-racist, and how her words and actions have put an even bigger target on the backs of black and brown people in East Lansing. This is not ignorance, it's arrogance. Clearly I was wrong. She has charged ahead with her racist agenda. She already played a role in undoing the powers of the Oversight Commission. Then a little over a week ago, she laid out her 6-point plan at the DDA meeting to undo the small gains the HRC and LEPOC have achieved over the last several years by stating she wants to overturn the newly passed pretextual stops ordinance and let police do their job, as well as reverse the loitering and camping ordinances. She said the homeless do not want help, so they need to be arrested. If you know anything about the history of policing, you would know that black codes, like loitering and vagrancy and panhandling, were implemented to imprison black people following emancipation because the 13th Amendment had a carve-out allowing prisoners to be used as unpaid slave labor. This is the history lesson Brown wants us to repeat. 3 of you were here when I laid out all the data that clarified the pretextual stops do not decrease crime, do not turn up contraband, guns, or drugs, and do not keep us safer. They are used to target black and brown people. As a reminder, Philando Castile was stopped 47 times for minor violations before he was shot and killed for a cracked taillight. At the last council meeting, an open invitation was made to witness the violence downtown. Since then, I've spent approximately 18 to 20 hours there between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, including the night of the U of M football game and Halloween. I saw young adults enjoying the freedom of college life. I saw teenagers hanging out and meeting up with friends old and new. I witnessed the aftermath of a handful of fights, all of them between white men, but did not witness a single arrest. I saw maybe 15 kids intoxicated to the point of unresponsiveness or vomiting. When I checked in on them, they all had sober friends planning or in the process of getting them home or getting them help. I saw terribly busy EMTs, especially on Halloween. Once the bars closed, I saw workers emptying trash, smoking cigarettes, and taking a breather after working their asses off. I did not witness gangs keeping them from going home. I did see a lot of black teenagers, and guess what? I saw a lot of black teenagers who live right here in East Lansing. I saw black youth hanging out, talking, dancing, eating, laughing. What I did not see was a single gun, knife, or fight involving black youth. I am sure on a warm night we had, after a big football game, there were at least 2,000 people downtown, and probably the occasional bad actor, but assuming that bad actor is black and then labeling all black youth as criminals when there are white kids doing the same things is unacceptable. I spoke to an unhoused woman who said she'd been raped, but when she went to the police, she was threatened with arrest. She had a black eye from another recent encounter and said she would never seek help from the police again. We started passing out candy, snacks, water, Gatorade, condoms, and Plan B. The youth were ecstatic at this small show of support and kindness. Without exception, they thanked us, many hugged us, said God bless you, and even gave us a few dollars. This is what community policing should look like, but to do that, you have to see the humanity in black youth. I saw 2 gangs of EL police officers, one standing by Dave's Hot Chicken.
Thank you for your comments. Your time has expired. Thank you. Nadia Sellers.
Thank you, Council. For those of you supporting Jen, please understand, this is our experience, not yours. This happened to my son, not yours. Council members, I am very disappointed in your lack of decency, integrity, transparency, and accountability. Please help me understand why the prosecutor filed charges against these young men before seeing any evidence. It's clear this is how you conduct business in the city of East Lansing. This has been a trend perpetrated on black and brown people in this community for decades, and you've actually been getting away with it. But the Bible says, what's in the dark will come to light. Jen Brown, Lonnie Smith, and Mason Woods, that is the light. They are the light. They are your light. I've told you several times you picked on the wrong kids. I am so confused on who's running this city because all of your actions show a lack of good sense and judgment, which is truly mind-boggling, to the point where I'm beginning to wonder if there is a reasonable adult in this room that's willing to show some common decency. My God, we've been asking you to do what's right, but instead, you had the audacity to send the city attorney's little butt to HRC and Ellie Pox meetings to try and bully them into not investigating Mason and Lonnie's claims. Robert Bellman, I know this was you, but I don't know who you thought he was going to intimidate, because it sure in the hell wasn't me. The city attorney told me I should be happy because the charges were dismissed. That is insane, considering they should never have been charged in the first place, and you know that, which, of course, is why the charges were dismissed. But now I want to hold you accountable, and I'm going to ask that you address the systematic racism that's been rampant within East Lansing PD for years. Steve, welcome to City Council. You and Robert Bellman said Jen Brown's divisive, racist, hateful, unwarranted comments, not on an individual, but the entire Lansing community, should be viewed as her teachable moment. Jen, you should have had your teachable moment in high school. Then you should have had it in college. Then you should have had it in the police academy. You do not deserve to have a teachable moment on the back of black and brown people. That is not your teachable moment. Slavery was a teachable moment. Breonna Taylor was a teachable moment. George Floyd was a teachable moment. Trayvon Martin was a teachable moment. Michael Brown was a teachable moment. Eric Garner was a teachable moment. We are sick and tired of your teachable moments. Jen, your MAGA views won't work here. I'm curious, when is Officer Kingsbury going to have her teachable moment? When is Officer Lyon going to have his teachable moment? Will it be when someone gets killed? Because it's only a matter of time. Those officers are not just a danger to this community, they're a danger to themselves. But your failure as a council to act shows your fear of the police department and the police union, and that you're unwilling to do the right thing. And that is upsetting and terrifying, because you leaders are essentially sending a message to these officers. It's okay to break the law. It's okay to violate policy. Oh, it's okay to target black and brown people. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not okay. Since you're dead set on having a teachable moment, Kelly Woods and I, the mothers of Lonnie Smith and Mason Woods, we're going to give you a teachable moment. Because again, you picked on the wrong kids. Dr. Kings believed deeply in the responsibility of individuals to uphold dignity. Would you do that? Fairness. And that real strength lies not in comfort, but in the choices we make during moral trials. Can you do that, councilmen and women?
Seconds remaining.
Bob Marley once said, "You would never find justice in a world where criminals make the rules." Steve, Chuck, Singh, Bellarmine, Altman, all of you, I'm curious, are you the criminals?
Thank you. Karen Honey.
Good evening. My name is Karen Honey. I've served on the Human Rights Commission in East Lansing for about 7 years now. My comments tonight reflect my personal opinions. Tonight I am here to express my outrage about what happened at our HRC meeting on Monday night, when a thug lawyer was sent in to try to bully us into not doing our job. our job to investigate complaints of human rights violations in our city, the job that I've been doing for 7 years. It was like something out of a Sopranos episode. This man who we had never met before, who hadn't even had the decency to read our charter and to understand who we are and what we are commissioned to do, came in and with arrogance and clear disdain for us, tried to mansplain our role as HRC commissioners to us. His argument, it would not be in the best interest of our city for us to investigate these complaints. Well, as my fellow Commissioner Matthew said, we do not exist to serve the best interest of the city. We exist to investigate claims of human rights violations against residents and guests in our city, and to protect and uphold the human rights of residents. If the East Lansing Police Department stands behind their actions, their comments, and their responses named in these complaints, then why would they be trying to thwart this investigation? Don't they want their names cleared? I want to be clear that I take my role on the Human Rights Commission very seriously, and I, for one, have no intention of being bullied into not doing the job that I was appointed to do. And I want you to do the jobs you were appointed to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Mesher. Ann Bean. Daphne O'Regan.
Hello, my name is Daphne O'Regan. You've seen me before. So I mostly came to talk about the noisy cars, but before I start, I want to address a couple of things that I unfortunately have not had much time recently, so I have not been following. But my fundamental observation on everything that I've heard is it is absolutely necessary to observe human dignity and human rights in maintaining the tranquility, safety, whatever it is that you want out of our city. That is a bottom line. With that said, I don't know the facts because I haven't read all of the articles that apparently came out today about the situation, so I cannot comment further, except that I review that as a bottom line duty of the police department, the council above all, and the city. Turning to the noise ordinance, the pretextual stop ordinance. I've come to you many times to talk about this because of the strange and misguided nature of simply including noise. I'm certainly not in favor of pretextual stops, who is? But the whole principle, the whole logic of pretextual stops is that you are stopping someone for something that's actually doing any harm. But that simply isn't true of loud noise that dysregulates people who have diverse nervous systems, wakes people up, and in my view, the city council has failed to understand something very fundamental. Well, there's tons of science on that, but that's irrelevant. When the city council passed the ordinance, one of the things they exempted for motives that were extremely unclear was speeding, but most speeding at a minor end is in fact the most common pretextual stop of all because people's speedometers are adjusted differently, and so a very small infraction that could warrant a stop might not even appear to them, and yet somehow for some reason that was not included in the ordinance, and instead this thing that is actually not a pretext because it does do public health harm was included, which is noise. And I always felt there was something very racist about that because it seemed to have the idea that for some bizarre reason that I absolutely don't agree with, that noisy cars were somehow connected with minority people. That cannot be true. Why would it be true? So then the other reason advanced was that it was a matter of equity because of poverty, but the kinds of cars that we're talking about have nothing to do with poverty absolutely nothing. People spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to create the kinds of exhaust systems that make the kind of noise that we hear in this city. I walk to and from the university every day, and I walk past cars that I know nothing about cars, don't care about cars, I'm not interested in cars, can tell have been modified. If I can tell they've been modified and they're just parked there, obviously other people can. So how would we have an enforcement system? This is just brief because I want to turn to something I think is very important, that would not involve discretion. And the answer is, instead of having people stopped at the time of the noise, which is difficult because it's frequently at night and the risks escalate significantly on both sides during nighttime stops, and that is obviously something we want to avoid. The better approach would be simply photograph these exhaust systems, show an exhaust system of an unmodified car, and send a summons. You will determine, obviously, who owns it from the license plate, but it doesn't involve any stop. Now, at the time of the noise ordinance, this is taking up too much time because I'm not kidding. Anyway, the idea was it was impossible to enforce, which is clearly not true because entire states like California and New York are enforcing noise ordinances. Now, why is it terrible to have these noisy cars besides the fact that they wake up people, dysregulate people, and make people sick? Because when I went downtown, I also went downtown several times to see what the heck was going on down there, and I found it completely fine. I was absolutely not worried about my safety. But here's what I did notice. It was very chaotic down there. So in my view, there's a few things that are contributing. One was the noise, because people were just like...
You have 30 seconds remaining.
People were just like having a noisy vehicles parked. They don't care, they like noise. I understand they like noise, but I don't think that's their right. But the other thing is that the downtown is too small for the number of students, and the city council has a responsibility to react to this situation. And it probably should involve rezoning, because we have this paradoxical situation where you're encouraging people to move there, but you're not making the downtown bigger. So you have more and more people crammed into this very small area, and you've allowed this tremendous amount of noise, which dysregulates a substantial number of people. So when you put those things together, you do not have a good situation. But I want to emphasize, human dignity has to come first.
Thank you. Leslie Morales.
Good evening, everybody, or as I would say in my native tongue, buenas tardes. My name is Leslie Morales. I use they, them, ella pronouns, and I'm a proud MSU alum, a proud first-generation college graduate, and proud to be the first in my family to be born in the United States. I am not, however, proud of the circumstances which have led me to be here in front of you today. The reason I'm here standing before you and not at home, cozy, next to my dog, whose name is Benito, is because on October 11, 2025, between 4 and 5 p.m., I was arrested for allegedly trespassing and resisting arrest. I was waiting for my Lyft driver to pick me up when two officers, one of those being Officer Lyon, came up to me and positioned me in a way where the table I was behind me, my back touching it, and their bodies directly in front of me, with barely any space to move. In addition to being in my face, Officer Lyon's disregard for de-escalation tactics and his partner's negligence to interfere in his gross misuse of power are what led to my arrest simply for asking clarifying questions, which is my First Amendment right, surrounding the incident. Not only was I arrested without knowing the reason, but Officer Lyon used excessive force, which caused me to bruise, have redness, and caused my existing physical ailments to worsen in pain. Both my OMM doctor and my physical therapist agree that the wrongful arrest further affected my physical ability. Furthermore, when I submitted a request to FOIA regarding the body cam footage, I received a bill of $105 to obtain what should rightfully and without financial barriers be given to me regarding my case. I'm not a criminal. I have no criminal history, and my anxiety and mental health has since been negatively impacted. I do not come from money. I cannot afford a lawyer, So I come before you today so that you can hear my story, so that no other brown, queer individual is faced with the police violence I was met with on that day, which I was supposed to be celebrating homecoming. I definitely believe, had I been a white male, that I would have no need to be in front of you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Shay Sellers. Day Sellers, excuse me.
Okay, thank you. It's a little lengthy. Okay, so as a 35-year-old who grew up here and ran a business here, I'm disappointed but not surprised by the way a lot of you speak and act, right? Predominantly this side. Okay. You don't know the reality of those who don't look like you. You're out of touch. You're far removed. You're ignorant. You're disconnected. And technically, in my mind, you're delusional. Not only do you not see the connection between race, sexuality, gender, choice of belief, religious beliefs, or just point blank the fact that we all are different generations, it shows me that it's sad to be 35 years old still seeing people, a lot of you, still thinking the way you do, right? To say, who are these people? Those people, they're students. They are residents, they are parents, they are children, they are someone's child, they're someone's cousin, someone's aunt, etc., right? You get it, okay. So, why are we still teaching grown adults what is right from wrong? Respectfully. Did you not learn that already? A lot of you seem to not have learned that already, and it's really sad to see, but you know what? When you leave here, hopefully the people behind you don't have to carry the same type of weight, because we're tired, honestly. I say it's time to grow up. Those who are complicit to the disgraceful, unlawful actions of police, if it were your kids, would you feel the same? If it was your cousin or your aunt or your uncle or your mother or your father, would you feel the same? If it was your friends, would you feel the same? As a black person, not dating one of Jen Brown's children, just a normal person who has to be in this community, who was here during Welcome Week, and I saw a lot of the, BS go down, right? I think it's just disgusting. It's sad that you have to have brown against brown or white against white or white against black or black against white. Race doesn't matter. I think what matters is being complicit to disrespect, unlawful arrests, and just point blank racism. Just because you don't say racist in a word doesn't mean the words you say are not racist. Okay, so also, I'm the sister of a falsely accused individual, which is Lonnie Smith. My brother is a nice person. He's the nicest person I know. I was there when he actually got arrested, but by the grace of God, I was going home, because if I were there, we would not be having this conversation, to be quite honest with all of you. And if I were one of your children, I would hope that you would hope that your oldest daughter would take care of your children too. We are all responsible for each other in community. We are all responsible for each other in race. We are all responsible for each other no matter what religion or what type of political stance you take. We are all responsible for each other. But somewhere along the lines, people above the age of 50 tend to try and disconnect us. Not everybody, but a lot of you. And I have to take over the fight that you guys refuse to fight. So while you sit back and you say someone's actions are teachable, they're teachable. Maybe you should go back to school. Maybe you should go back to college. Maybe you should read a book. Maybe you should read a blog. Maybe you should read the newspaper. You can't be taught what to do when you're over the age of 50. What they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? No shade, but you're an old dog in my mind. With the way you treat people, it's very childish, it's very disrespectful, and my time is not up, so respectfully, all I have to say after this is to sit here and have to take my time away from my child that is 1.5 years old on a Tuesday night to come to East Lansing, because I sit back and I watch and hear all of the things that people have to say about community. You care about your community when it's your community, but what about the community of others? People come from all around the world to go to Michigan State. People come from all around the city to enjoy themselves in East Lansing. There are crimes that are committed by everybody. Race has no sense of who commits what. White people, black people, people are people. Everybody commits a crime, okay? So in my mind, if you want to sum it up as minorities, then are you the majority? I want to know. So you let me know. I'll wait for your answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Venn.
Hi, hello. Oh, dang, this is low. My name is Jennifer Venn, and I hope everyone's having a great night. Police Chief Jen has had many character profiles tonight. I've heard many quotes stating how good of a person she is, specifically surrounding who she knows. I don't refute that, but I am held and compelled to ask, what about the people she does not know? When is it appropriate to admit that supposed good people can perpetuate bad actions? I am urged to ask, when are we allowed to hold people accountable for objectively bad behavior? When do we admit that bad actions can cause rippling ramifications and implications in the community, signaling that violence regarding colored bodies, Black students, are appropriate? When are Black bodies protected and valued in the city of East Lansing? Is it when they're entertainers on a basketball court or on a football field or representing East Lansing Michigan State University in academics? Violence against youth should not be a conversation of debate, but a call for the community to stand and protect the youth. I think it's very disappointing that in this conversation we are debating the logistics of it when there is clear, unrefutable video of what occurred that night. And it's very disappointing that we have to have this push and pull when there was a cover-up that tried to occur. And surrounding the economical differences that a lot of colored and minority people have in the city, most people do not have parents that can afford lawyers or have defense and come to these city council meetings. I'm a current student at MSU. I go out often. I am literally on those streets. And I think it's just very disheartening to know that protection is only felt surrounding our white peers. And it's not fair that we have to fight for what we already have. We should be protected. We should feel safe. It should not be a debate. And it's not a call to say she's a bad person, but when do we say people can do bad things? Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak from the audience? Please. If you could please state your name and address for the record.
Sure, and this won't take long. My name is Simon Peraza. Been living in East Lansing for a very long time. I just want, if I wanted to talk about sexism, how many of you would take me seriously if I wanted to tell you what was sexist and what wasn't sexist? I don't think as a man, I'm in a position to be telling any women what sexism is. That seems ridiculous. So when I see people, and I don't care, if I come up here as a Puerto Rican and I say, guess what, racism doesn't exist, that doesn't mean anything. That does not negate the experience of everybody else. And when a white person says, that's not racist, you may as well be in a man saying that's not sexist. Okay? We don't get to decide what's sexist as men. We're supposed to become self-aware and listen to what women are telling us about sexist behavior, right? So let's try applying that to people of color in East Lansing.
Anyone else from the audience here? Is Gary Mesher or Ann Bean in the room? Okay. Is there anyone in the queue?
There is one caller in the queue.
Please.
Caller with the phone number ending in 567, you are now free to address the council. Caller with the phone number ending in 567, you are now free to address the council. There are no other callers in the queue.
Okay, thank you. That concludes communications from the audience. Next item on the agenda is communications from the mayor and council members. Starting to my right, Councilmember Singh.
we go. I want to start off by congratulating our two new council members, Chuck Grigsby. I already enjoy your sense of calm and steady, and while I'm not sure how often we'll see eye to eye, mainly because I'm only 5'5", but I am excited to see you carve your path on behalf of our community here on council. And Steve Whelan, I enjoy your positivity and look forward to getting to know you more over the forthcoming months. I also want to thank the other candidates who put their name on the ballot and ran in this election. We all know from personal experience that it is a difficult and time-consuming process, but having a robust election is what makes this city special. I want to also congratulate Mayor Altman on his selection as mayor. I look forward to continuing to work with you over the next 2 years. The city of East Lansing has significant issues that we are facing, from budgetary items to public safety, community relations, and many of the issues that we heard through public comment this evening. Lawsuits that prior council policy were lost in the last year and totaling $14 million needing to be paid. Revenue sharing was cut, and we are facing a structural deficit. We have our work cut out for us. I look forward from the Financial Health Task Force that will be appointed here in the future to the conclusion. Hopefully they have some advice for us prior to the conclusion of the 2027 budget adoption. Time is of the essence. I'd also like to mention a couple of other things. This is kind of like my halftime of my term, so I'm taking a minute to recognize that the university and city have a long history, times when we have worked smoothly together and times less so. Historically, a quarterly meeting would be conducted between city leadership and the president of MSU. And let me tell you, it's taken 2 years to get that meeting reestablished, with the first happening this December. I look forward to the mayor and the mayor pro tem and engaging there to build a cohesive shared vision and strategy for our community. East Lansing has an important role in the region, and now it is a critical time to look how we forge deeper connections with communities, to look for promising areas of collaboration. Maybe that's economic development, maybe that's housing, maybe that's community safety, or supporting the unhoused, which I must commend city staff who put 2 impressive workshops together on the issue. But in this region and in our community, we must work together to continue momentum. We are always stronger together than what divides us. We have made some important strides in the last 2 years, and I also want to recognize some of what we heard comments on tonight. City Council has taken action. I believe the city manager will provide a report and update on the last item we voted on at our last meeting. So I really know and recognize we need to continue to work on our community engagement and communications. Discourse is so important, and engaging key stakeholders in our community are incredibly important, as well as systems, the systems within our local government that we here are charged to help create policy on, systems that we have to do some real work on. I know I was reflecting a bit on this, that I took a course in public administration over 20 years ago now, and the professor was really making the case on the role of bureaucratic systems. And I thought at the time, why can't we just get on the phone and crank through and fix the problem? I have now, 20 years later, recognized the importance to standardization of systems to help provide the positive outcomes that we seek in our community. But we also have to communicate on that. You can't just have a rule or a policy and not be able to have the community have awareness of what needs to be done. And I know our city manager has heard that very often from me. With all that to say, these will continue to be issues that I discuss while I'm serving my final 2 years in this term, and really look forward to getting proactive to tackle some of these issues head on, as well as all the items that are on our docket, many of which that we heard from tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Grigsby.
Thank you. I just wanted to speak to what I heard in the public comments, I should say, and that there's quite a bit of work to do in all areas of the city, but especially in some of the areas that were spoken upon tonight. And I hope to be the bridge and that healing and that improvement, that change, and being the best that we can be in regards to what our city represents. One of the things I noticed about tonight, just in those comments, was I heard one side or a side speak. I heard another side speak. I saw half that side leave the room. I have the other side, very emotionally engaged in what they were talking about. And I think that's where we need to start. We need to get everyone in the room so we can really learn about each other and how we can be better in all phases. So I'll just speak to that and leave that right where that needs to be, because the work needs to be put in when it comes to some of the things that we were heard from the audience. I'm going to selfishly go back to tonight for what it means for me, my family, and just please bear with me. Thank you, Mayor. Tonight is a very important moment in my life, and I want to start with the people who make everything possible, my family. To my wife, you are the anchor of our family and the quiet strength behind everything I do. Your support, your understanding, and your steady presence made it possible for me to pursue this work. You give our home stability, and you give me the confidence to step forward and serve. I'm grateful for your love and the way that you continue to stand with me. Love you. To my son, you inspire me more than you know. Watching you grow into a thoughtful, determined young man has been one of the greatest joys of my life. You have been patient with my long days and long nights, and your quiet support throughout this campaign has meant everything to me. I am proud of your character, your kindness, and your work ethic, and I'm excited to see the man you are continuing to be. I also want to thank my extended family who are watching from afar. Your encouragement, your prayers, and your belief in me have lifted me throughout this journey. Please know that I feel your support. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone who supported my candidacy, those who volunteered, who reached out, friends and neighbors who offered their encouragement, contributed their time, their resources, and believed in what we were trying to build, and I will never take that trust for granted. To the people of East Lansing, thank you. During this campaign, I had a chance to meet so many of you in your neighborhoods, at your doors, at events, and even in your kitchen tables. I listened carefully to what you shared, your priorities, and your concerns, and I learned a great deal from those conversations, and I will carry those conversations with me every single day in this role. My commitment is to stay accessible, to listen, and to work in partnership with this community. To my colleagues on council, thank you for placing your confidence in me by electing me Mayor Pro Tem. It's truly a blessing to have your confidence, and I'm deeply grateful for the trust you have placed into me. It tells me that you believe I can help support the mayor and help keep you focused on the work and be a reliable member of this team. I see this role as a responsibility I hold on behalf of the whole council, and I will do my best to honor that. I value each of you. And I'm committed to working together with integrity, respect, and professionalism as we make decisions for the city going forward. I also want to acknowledge our city staff and our department leaders. and many volunteers on our boards and commissions. Your expertise, dedication are the backbone of this city. I look forward to partnering with you and supporting the work you do every day to keep East Lansing strong. This moment has been a long journey for me. It began years ago as a volunteer at Glencairn Elementary School, working with young people and meeting families, and understanding this community at a deeper level. Programs like the Emerging Leaders Initiative help me appreciate the history and the promise of East Lansing, the parts of our story that uplift us, and the parts of the story that will challenge us. My service on the commissions taught me how to work through complex issues alongside staff, neighbors, and fellow commissioners. In my work with youth and families over the years, I've seen how powerful it is when people feel seen, respected, and supported. That experience reminds me of our decisions at this table, and they are not abstract. They touch real lives, and they shape the future of the next generation. That perspective will stay with me in this role and will guide me to keep asking who is being heard, who is being left out, and how can we bring more voices into the conversation. As an African-American man serving on this council, now as Mayor Pro Tem, I do not take lightly what this means for representation, for future generations, and for what it signals about our values of the city. I am especially mindful of what it means to be, as I understand it, the first Black council member in East Lansing as Mayor Pro Tem to serve a full term. I'm grateful to the residents who supported me, and not because of the color of my skin, but because of the work, the dedication, and the focus I bring to this role. I carry that responsibility with honor. I believe every neighbor deserves a seat at the table, and that real solution comes when we build trust, we listen, we work together, and it's about the work ahead and making sure East Lansing is a community where everyone is respected, where families can thrive, and where every person has a voice in our community. It also means being open to thoughtful, responsible growth and development that strengthens our future while honoring the character of our city. I'm humbled, I'm grateful, and I'm ready to help move East Lansing forward together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Meadows.
Okay, I'll be very brief. For one thing, I want to congratulate our two new members on their successful election. I also want to comment that and congratulate all of the people who put their name in the hat and campaigned across our city over the last few months for positions on this council. It takes a lot of courage to throw your name out there and let people decide whether you're the right person or the wrong person to serve here, to make decisions on behalf of council, on behalf of the citizens of the community that will affect their lives for 50 years or more, because that's what we do here. And so congratulations also to the mayor and the new Mayor Pro Tem on their election. I'm looking forward to how we proceed over the next 2 years under their leadership. I think, Councilmember Singh mentioned that she's only 5'4". Well, I don't know what I am now. I know I have shrunk as I got older, but I think this might be the tallest Mayor Pro Tem team that we have ever had in the city of East Lansing. So we all feel a little shorter, I think, wandering around here. I want to just say ditto to everything that Councilmember Singh said. I felt that she was speaking for me on the things that she mentioned. And I want to thank all the speakers tonight. This microphone has become a real First Amendment location, I think, within our community over the last couple of years in particular. And I think it's great. And, sometimes comments are made up there that make you feel uncomfortable. That's what's supposed to happen. We do need to feel uncomfortable sometimes because things happen that maybe we regret, but we have to hear about them in order to correct the problem. So, and then one other thing that Councilmember Singh mentioned was this quarterly meeting with MSU. It is great that it's back in business. And I hope that, well, I'll be interested to see what the report is from that meeting. I also want to just comment, though, that we also had a quarterly meeting with the school board for many, many years. And that also went down the tubes during COVID, apparently. And we had that first meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I hopefully we'll be having that on a quarterly basis as well. It's very important for us to keep, our industry here is education. And we've got two great institutions, Michigan State University and the East Lansing School District, that we deal with, and I'm looking forward to working closely with them.
Thank you. Councilmember Whelan.
Thank you so much. Chuck, I should have wrote out my speech. Good job. It is a pleasure to serve with each and every one of you up at the table. I think there's so much, as Carrie you quoted, there's so much more that unites us than divides us. I think the comments from the community is powerful. I knocked on 3,300 doors, and I learned a lot about the city that I hadn't known before. People value their neighbors, they value their neighborhoods, they value their safety, they value the city staff, what they do for them. The fact that we still get our leaves picked up is amazing. For those of you, the city staff that are not retired yet, keep on going. We need you. There's so much challenges ahead of us, yet I think our brightest days are still ahead. I think the collaboration with other stakeholders is really powerful, and I think the more and more we can do that, the better off we all are. The more we can listen, assess, and respond, I think is powerful. On a fun note, I know the same night as Silver Bells, there's going to be a tree lighting downtown, from what I understand. There's a lot to happen in these next 6 weeks as we end out 25 and as we begin the challenges of 26. But again, I think the stronger we work together, the more powerful we can come up with solutions to make a difference in each and every community member's lives.
Thank you. I want to join my other council members in welcoming our two new colleagues to the council. We are lucky to have them, and I think that we have a great group here. We have people with diverse perspectives and rich experiences in history that they will bring to the table. And that sets us up to consider whatever issues come our way carefully and thoughtfully and from many different angles. And I will do everything I can to promote this approach in my role as the council member who runs the meetings, okay, which is what the mayor does in East Lansing, and which is different from what the mayor does in Lansing, for example. Same title, different roles. I want to thank everyone who takes the time and makes the effort to offer public comment, whether that is from the podium or by calling in or by emailing the city council account. And I want to encourage people to join the conversation, as others have mentioned. We need to hear from you, and other people in the community need to hear from you. All these comments go into the public record. And so other people can tune in whenever it works for them. And so we can develop a rolling conversation in the community. And I will say that those of us who sit up here, and many besides, know that if you talk to 1,000 people during a campaign, you come away with a pretty good sense of what the community is thinking. And if we hear from lots of people between campaigns, that's a way for us to maintain that flow of information. So that concludes communications from mayor and council members. City manager's report, Mr. Bellman.
Let me start out by echoing the congratulatory remarks to Councilmember Grigsby and Whelan on your election to City Council. I look forward to working with you. Also, congratulations to Councilmember Altman on your election as mayor, Councilmember Grigsby on your election as mayor pro tem. Thank you again to all of the candidates that ran for city council. Democracy is alive and well in the city of East Lansing. Next, I want to give recognition to City Clerk Gordon, Deputy Clerk Gordon, and the City Clerk team, our election inspectors, city employees, IT, DPW, and all who made the November 4th election success. So thank you very much. We know it was tireless efforts that went into ensuring the smooth election on leading up to and on the day of. So thank you. Secondly, I want to update or provide an update. At the October 21st, 2025 regular session, the City Council, after returning from closed session, adopted a motion offered by Council Member Dana Watson and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ebersol Singh to authorize the City Attorney to retain outside counsel to undertake an independent review of actions, policies, and procedures of the East Lansing Police Department that relate to an impact upon the public and arrests during the situations, including those that occurred during Welcome Weekend for Michigan State University, to the present, and prosecution related to the same, and to provide counsel with a confidential and privileged report and recommendations. Mayor Brookover signed a contract on November 4th, 2025, with the Hahnemann Law Firm to engage Michelle P. Crockett. Michelle Crockett has been engaged as that outside counsel to conduct the independent review as approved by City Council on October 21st. I spoke with Michelle Crockett yesterday and today. She explained how she and two of her other attorneys in her firm plan to proceed with the independent review. I will provide additional updates as information becomes available. Next, downtown solutions. We heard a lot of concerns from residents expecting items to be on tonight's agenda. Police Chief Brown established an internal working group to brainstorm solutions to address policing challenges and residents' concerns about noise and unhoused population downtown. Police Chief Brown is preparing an agenda item for the December 9th, 2025 regular session to propose a package of solutions, including amending Ordinance 1541 to address the prohibition or secondary offense of loud exhaust, ordinances expanding prohibiting camping and loitering on public property, additional staffing for DPW and the police department, additional cameras, additional lightings, and many other things to be presented to council for their consideration. Heather Pope, Community and Economic Development Director, and Holly Medill of the MSU National Charrette Institute facilitated 2 4-hour workshops. So those that were in attendance, about 40 plus, had a better understanding about the unhoused population and identifying long-term solutions around the city's unhoused population. It was valuable conversation and insights. There were a lot of great resources from the region at the table, and our success will be through those partnerships. I look forward to the final report and recommendations. Those are my comments. One other thing, the tree lighting is Saturday, November 22nd from 5 to 7. Thank you very much.
Thank you. City Attorney's report, Mr. Jopik.
No report this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jopik. So we proceed next to the business agenda. We have 2 items. Item 3.1 is to approve the 2026 City Council meeting schedule. Mr. Bellman, do you have some context for us?
So this is the schedule that was previously provided. It identified the dates for next year's meeting, both regular sessions and discussion-only meetings.
Okay, I'll move the approval of the 2026 City Council meeting schedule as presented in our agenda.
Moved by Meadows.
Second.
Second by Whelan.
I do have a motion to amend. This is sort of a personal thing, but if we could, I would move that we change the January 27th date to the 20th, so there would be 3 meetings in a row. This facilitates, I expect to be absent from the city on the 27th, and I don't want to miss a meeting, let me put it that way. So that would be my initial motion at this time.
Are there any objections to that change?
I'm going to be gone January 6th, so I don't, you're bringing up dates that we may be gone, so I'm not really sure what the pleasure of the body would be on that, but. What is my deal? It's like I forgot how to do this. So yeah, I was just mentioning, I will be absent January 6th, outside of East Lansing, but, so whether we amend or I miss a meeting, I just wanted to note that since you mentioned a date, Mr. Meadows, that you'll be missing.
Was that an objection to the motion?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
more sharing.
All right, appreciate that. All right, so without objection, that amendment is adopted. So the calendar will now read January 20th instead of January 27th.
I also have.
Was there a second?
Was there a second? I will have seconded it. Did Whelan second the amendment?
I seconded the original
The
one
original.
before there was a change. There was a change.
All right. I second the amendment. It was adopted without objection. So we now have a calendar amended so that it's January 20th.
And
Any
then,
further amendments or discussion?
Just sort of a kind of a question and a motion at the same time, which is, we have one meeting scheduled on this in November 17th. And a single meeting in November makes sense in an odd year because we have council elections and we have to wait until certification so there's a changeover. But I don't see why we would be only having one meeting in November during an even year, and I would suggest that we treat it like we do other months, which is to have a meeting on the 10th, a discussion-only meeting on the 17th, and a business meeting on the 24th.
Is it consideration for staff, though? Recognizing they're conducting a.
I have no idea. I figure Robert might have a comment here.
So that's my point is gubernatorial election next year. November has been a month that we try to stay to one because of the amount of work the clerk's office does for the elections and then prepping for this meeting. We try to stay away from multiple meetings that will strain that staff further.
Well, I guess I could understand why we wouldn't have one on the 10th then, but why the 24th would be no meeting.
So
That's
what's the
towards
motion?
end. The motion would be, based on that comment, to have a business meeting on the 17th and a discussion-only meeting on the 24th.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Grigsby. Discussion on the motion. I guess I'll offer that I'm pretty sympathetic to trying to give staff some time back. And I will say that I had originally, along those lines, I had originally suggested at the last meeting that we think about canceling discussion-only meetings to see if we could shrink the number of meetings. I don't think that's going to work, and so I changed my perspective on that. But if we can leave the calendar light in November, I guess that would be my preference. Any further discussion? Okay, we have an amendment to add a business meeting on the 24th, which is the only change that would make, right?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay.
Nay.
Nay.
Mr. Grigsby.
Sorry.
I said aye.
You said aye. So that motion fails 2 votes to 3. We are back to the main motion as amended with January 20th substituting for January 27th. Any further discussion on the motion as amended? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Which brings us to item 3.2, review and discussion of boards and commissions appointments. Mr. Bellman.
So this is just to present the boards and commissions and other bodies that this council serve as liaison to. It's really just to introduce it. The current assignments for Councilmember Singh, Mayor Altman, and Councilmember Meadows are listed. Opportunity if you wanted to start changing, but the idea is to move this to the 9th and solidify those liaison appointments on December 9th meeting.
So let me just add that, I didn't envision that we would make any decisions on this tonight, but I thought we'd get the process started. I also thought it would be an opportunity for our 2 new members to float any questions they might have about the liaison process or about specific boards and commissions, because you have people here who have fulfilled that role and might be able to address some of the comments. And I think we can actually make some initial progress in terms of setting some ground rules about the assignments. So let me open the floor for now in case people have questions about the process or comments.
I guess I'm just a little confused. So when will we have the opportunity to speak? Because I would like to honor the other council members who have the relationships on their commissions and preference in regards to what they've been doing. And so I'm just kind of curious of how to go best forward to advocate for the commissions that I'm interested in,
Yep.
but respect that as well.
So let me try to address that. So typically we honor seniority. So if somebody has an assignment and wants to keep it, then it's up to them to decide whether they want to keep it or relinquish it. The 3 middle columns here are the assignments that are in force from the previous council. The ones in the very left column and the ones in the very right column are largely up for grabs, but not all. And so I'll address that a little bit in a moment. But what I was going to suggest is that all council members send me their preferences in whatever form they want to put them down. They can be, hard yeses, maybe not such a good fits, any other information they can give me, and I will try to put the puzzle together and produce a draft list of assignments for council's consideration on the 9th. And if there are ties in that draft that I cannot break based on seniority, then I will leave them in. There probably will not be very many, but at that point we can negotiate any final changes and vote on the final product. I would also think, and the city attorney can perhaps correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that two-way communications between council members among these sorts of assignments would be appropriate under the Open Meetings Act. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. When you do communicate with the mayor regarding your preferences, please communicate with just the mayor, not your fellow council members.
In the interim, would it also be appropriate for one council member to contact another council member who might hold an assignment and ask them if they would be willing to relinquish that assignment?
Individual calls are generally acceptable, and I can provide some further counsel to you all tomorrow on that, so that you have that on hand as you go through this process.
That would be helpful. So I could imagine that if someone wants an assignment that is currently held by one of the continuing members, call them up and ask them if they're willing to horse trade. I think that's one approach. Let me just say that, so I love all my children equally, but I am willing to relinquish all my current assignments if anybody would be interested in taking over those, any that are listed under my name. The building authority, I believe, is now defunct. But I will have to start taking on some new assignments in my present role. And if people have questions about any of my assignments, they can certainly call me. Any other comments or questions about this process?
I've got, along the lines of what you just mentioned, 2 years ago I asked if the two subcommittees of the DDA that are assigned to me are still in existence, and I was told they were. They have not met, to my knowledge, in the last 2 years. So I again ask, would someone find out whether those still exist? Because if they are no longer part of the process that the DDA is utilizing, then I just soon have them removed from the list. So, okay.
Councilmember Whelan, any questions or?
Not right now.
All right, thank you. So let me just add to the mix here. So in the list of assignments that were the former mayors in the left-hand column, I believe that DDA and the BRA are now my assignments, as well as the Election Commission by statute, and the Council of Neighborhood Presidents by custom has also involved the mayor. So I will plan to take those four on. But as I said earlier, any of the other ones under my name are up for grabs potentially. So let me make a motion at this point. I'll move to defer this item to our December 9th meeting with the understanding that council members will send me their preferences by Sunday, November 30th, which would give me time to collate and get the draft proposal to the city manager for inclusion on the 9th. So that is my motion.
Support.
Motion by Altman, second by Meadows. Any discussion of that timeline? Any concerns about that timeline? Any remaining questions or comments on this issue? All right. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move for us to adjourn.
Second?
Moved by Singh, seconded by Grigsby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.